What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to talk about, if you haven't heard, a little bit about what's been going on in Dominican Republic and what this potentially means for not only Colombia, but Medellin, Colombia specifically. So recently, within this last month, there's been a lot of crackdowns on prostitution. Not solely prostitution. They claim that it's supposed to be about human trafficking and other organized crime, but the main focus is prostitution. Now, the heaviest hit part has been in a city called Sosua, which, if you, let's just say, if you're a passport bro, you definitely know about Sosua. If you don't know about Sosua, it's very similar to Medellin, where a lot of guys go there to essentially get women. And primarily it's a pay for play situation. There's not many guys going to Sosua looking for a good woman or a wife. It's primarily pay to play. And so with these crackdowns, they're trying to turn the city of Sosua into essentially like a Puerto Plata or Punta Cana, basically something that's more clean and family friendly. Now, in return, what does this mean for Colombia and Medellin? Excuse me. So the way I see it is this: that all the guys that were going to Dominican Republic basically to pay for play, all those guys now are just going to be coming over to Colombia. A guy I know in Sosua who deals primarily with tourists has recently said, it's been very empty there in general, not just in the month of July, but before this as well. It's just guys aren't going to Dominican Republic like they used to, or let's just say Sosua. And a big part of that is because the prostitution essentially is dried up there. The working girls ain't coming like they used to, or if they are, the same quality is not going like the same quality isn't there as it used to be. So what I think is now this just means that Medellin, places like Medellin, also Cartagena, are just going to be even more so overrun now with guys who were originally going to DR for this will now just come to Colombia or potentially other countries like Thailand and stuff. But for the guys specifically into Latinas, or they don't want to go as far as going to Thailand or, Asia, they're going to come to more guys are going to start coming to Colombia. So what I would say is, if you are someone in 2025 going into 2026 still interested in coming to Colombia and with the goal of finding a potential wife, girlfriend, or a good girl, my honest recommendation is going to be stay out of the major cities like Cartagena, like Medellin. Cali is still not too bad. I would say Barranquilla as well, Bucaramanga, but you are going to want to go to the smaller areas or the smaller pueblos. Obviously, there's not going to be as much to do. It may not be as exciting as a Cartagena or a Medellin, but you're more likely to find, better women or a better quality of women. Also, too, my recommendation as well is that I'm currently here in Lima, and Lima is looking more and more every day that I'm here like a much better option than Colombia or Medellin. If we're specifically talking about cities, but just in general, the country of Peru, is looking a lot better than Colombia. Now, here in Peru, obviously the women aren't going to be as good looking as they are in Colombia, but you can still find very beautiful women here. It's just it's going to take a little bit longer. Also, the women here are very conservative, so you're not going to get, girls, easy girls for the most part. Am I not saying there aren't none? No, I'm just saying that it will take a little bit longer, um, you know, to move things along here in Peru than it does in a Colombia or a DR. So, I think that as they start trying to clean up more of Dominican Republic and they're trying to, make it more of a family friendly spot to attract more quality tourists there. And when I say tourists, I mean, they want families. They don't want a bunch of passport bros going there who are just looking to pay for play and that's it. So like I said, what does that leave? Just to recap here, that now a lot more guys are going to be coming to Colombia. So if you don't know, I primarily live in Medellin and have been living there for 2 years. I love Medellin, the city of Medellin. I love the people. I love the Paisa people. But, there is one issue there that I would say that you can't ignore, is that dating is easy as people make it sound like, or as it is online. Once you've lived there for a while and you actually are kind of ingrained in the culture, it really isn't that easy to date. You're still dealing with problems. It's just a different set of problems there in Colombia. So, like I said, I think going into the end of 2025 and 2026, as this news starts to get out and more guys start to hear about Dominican Republic, and essentially you can't just go there and find the pay for play stuff easily. More guys are going to start coming to Colombia, specifically Medellin and Cartagena. So like I said, my recommendations would be, if you are planning on coming to Colombia and, want to find someone honest there. Because for me personally, I'm not into pay for play. I don't promote it. If you do it, that's, your thing, no shame. But for me, I like to focus more on trying to find normal, good girls that aren't into that whole, pay for play thing. So I think that, there are alternative options to Colombia. Like I said, there's Peru or Lima versus Medellin. But I'll talk about that in another video. Also, with this whole pay for play thing, or with the prostitution, cleaning up of prostitution, Medellin tried this, I want to say last year, and that didn't last very long. They tried to clean up the Parque Geddes area. If you are familiar with Medellin, you know where this is. They tried to clean that up and essentially shut down the prostitution there, and I want to say that maybe lasted like a week or so. And before they had locals or people, basically protesting through Geddes Park about how it's hurting businesses and stuff. So I don't think that Medellin will be doing anything like DR as far as cleaning up the prostitution anytime soon, because it's just too many businesses in that area are dependent on it. And from what I've heard in Colombia, the Parque Geddes area used to be actually a kind of family-friendly area, similar to Provenza. Provenza doesn't have anything as far as working girls there that is obvious. Now, working girls do work in Provenza. They just try to be more undercover about it, because there are more police and security that, if they do see them or catch them, they'll basically kick them out and make them go back down to either Calle Diaz or Parque Geddes. And it's just not as in your face as it is in Parque Jettis. So Parque Jettis used to be a place where, more people, normal locals, would go and party, and then it kind of just became the whole prostitution area, the red light district of where you go if you want to find working girls. So, as I said, I don't think that Colombia is going to, at least for the moment, they're going to try to clean it up, because when they did, basically, they had a bunch of protests, and I think that maybe lasted a week, if not a week, less than a week, before they, was backing up and running like normal. So, just to basically end this video, like I said, I do expect there to be more traffic, more guy traffic, more guys looking for the pay to play now coming to Colombia. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Like always, guys, like and subscribe. And, honestly, I'm very curious to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this? Are you still planning on going to Dominican Republic? Or are you planning on going to other places in Colombia? Or are you just going to go to another country in general, like Peru or Chile or Costa Rica or somewhere else in Latin America? As I said, Lima or Peru is starting to look like a more attractive option. And like I said, I'll touch on that in another video. But that's it for this one. Appreciate you guys watching, and to the next one, be easy.